good morning, and welcome to your Business in Digital. Super excited to be here. I am Tamara Molowi, and this is going to be a jam-packed, crazy show. Team, how are you guys doing this morning? Is everybody feeling good? It's May 13th, our second to last show before, we take a little bit of time off for the summer. How's it going?
I'm great.
It
I'm
Yeah.
is good.
excited.
Nice, 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 nice. Well, happy Mother's Day to all the amazing moms out there, mom adjacent, all the things. Happy Mother's Day to my mom. You guys had the time, got to spend time with family, chill, do fun things. Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. Michael, it's not Mother's Day in Canada, was it? It's like a whole was
It
it?
was, but you know
Oh,
what? Mom isn't here, so it didn't really matter.
oh, I saw a really cool picture of her on Facebook, though. She's looking
Yeah, she's
dapper as
living her
well.
best life. She's living her best life for
She's
sure.
traveling. So shout out to moms. How you doing? Happy Mother's Day. All right, let's kick to the show. Intro. Good morning, and welcome to your Business in Digital. I'm Tamara Molowi. I am super excited to be here. I'm always excited to be here because you know what? We have a great show in store for you. Let me tell you a little bit about your Business in Digital. What we do is we bring together some amazing people, some of the most brilliant minds in finance, Miss Andrea Ragu, our virtual CFO, in pricing and strategy and sales strategy, Miss Michelle Gordon, principal strategist at Atlantic Digital. And of course, we have with us Mr. Michael Wilshire, our operations guru who guides us, keeps us focused and in process, getting the things done, executing. And I am here. I don't even know why I'm talking like this, but it's funny. I am here, Tamara Molowi, talking digital. And what we're doing is we're connecting all the dots for you, right? We want you to have this conversation about digital where you're saying digital helped me increase my revenue by 10%, by 20% year over year. So that's why we bring together these folks. We're trying to really break down the silos in a business, in a small business, in a medium business, to get to that place of money in the bank, right? We all have these business goals we want to achieve, and how does digital do that? So let me tell you how and where you can connect with us. Connect with us on YouTube. We're live right now. LinkedIn, we're live. Good morning to everyone listening to us live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. If you can't catch us live, that's all right. Catch us on the replay. We are still good on the replay. If not, catch us everywhere podcasts are found. What I want you to do is tell a business owner, tell a business executive about this show. We help you connect the dots, get back to money in the bank. Digital can be so daunting. You spend a lot of money on it. You want to see the ROI. There's so many things happening. But we give you those strategies. We give you those strategies that you can take back to your business. And if you're working with an agency, you get to ask them some tough questions to understand how what they're doing connects back to your business goals. You have to make that ROI when you are doing digital and your digital marketing efforts. So subscribe. All right. I'll mix it up a little bit. All right, so we have an amazing recap. Michelle, you're going to do the recap because we had such a great show last week. It was so good. Tell us about last week's show.
It was amazing. We had a guest last week, a person, a blast from my past. It was a great reunion with the Glenda Lee, who is from the hospitality industry, a little bit different from what we've had with our previous guest. Our goal was to speak in our space here with our community on how someone who has navigated from the corporate world into the entrepreneurial space and how she is navigating in this area in the digital landscape. So Glenda was a treat for us to have. And we actually didn't even get a chance to get through all of the questions because our conversation was so robust with her. Now, what we found and I'm not sure of the slides that are behind this. One of the things that we spoke about was the importance of bringing your true self into the conversation, who you are, how your past is actually a wealth of information that helps you to be successful in the entrepreneurial space, how the things that you're passionate about are really important in this space. For Glenda, it wasn't just hospitality, it was reaching behind her and being a mentor to those that are in underserved communities, and how she's able to navigate not only having that component of what makes her really happy, but how she found her niche, her something extra, to be almost one of one in that space, just not only serve the underserved, but also to help small businesses move into the hospitality realm and to provide a resource for them in the labor market. So I found that our conversation with Glenda worked really well, because she also showed us how you can bring yourself forward, speak your truth, show who you are in the digital space, in the online market, but also how you need to network and have some offline presence as well. So she found a way to navigate and move her corporate experience and to thrive and be successful in a sustainable fashion in the corporate space. So I thought having Glenda there with us was really robust and helped us to actually take a lot of things that we talk about. And it was almost as if I know she listens to us and she supports us, but every point that we brought to the table, she actually gave us examples. She is utilizing that in her environment. I thought it was really beneficial for us to have it, and it was a great conversation. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to it, check us out, go on to any one of the spaces that Tamara just spoke about and re-listen to the replay.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. She was awesome. She connected a lot of the dots, the just being open to listening to her team, the pivots, it was such a good show. It was such a good show. And I'm so glad that you brought her. We finally got to meet her. You talk about her all the time. So it was really good to see you. It's good to see you geek out with your friend as well. So it was a really good show. So
Glenda. You know what was so funny too, as I was watching the replay, while we were talking, she was actually broadcasting live too. She went live on her page on Facebook and on LinkedIn to say what she was doing, why she was doing it. And it was just like, as we say, marketing in motion. It was her living the truth in the digital space in real time. And I thought that was really interesting, and just off the cuff, just going live, speaking on something, and you could see her interacting. She took notes as we were going through and saying, I did have this lived experience, and this was the lesson that it taught me, and this is the stumble, because everything isn't so perfect, but this is how I recovered. Here's the lesson I passed on to the next person, and how it's benefited me as I look at my rearview mirror and make changes, so that as I'm driving forward, I don't make that detour yet again. So I thought it was really, really quite interesting to even watch the replay and to watch her actively do what we say, just take a chance and just be raw about it and move your business forward and take that chance and learn from every one of your actions.
Michael, Andrea.
Yeah, I was just waiting. So yeah, great conversation last week for sure. We always love when we have a guest, more so when we have a guest with, such vibrance, right? Um, I really remember her talking about the intentionality in her marketing, going forward with a strategy, being clear on who she was talking to. And I'm highlighting those for a reason, because we're going to talk about something with that just now. So really good, glad to have her. Michelle, thanks for bringing her to the stage. As you said, if you missed it, definitely go back and take in that episode.
And we missed you, Andrea. We missed you on Thursday. It was kind of weird. We knew, going in, because business is businessing, and you had to step away to take care of your business. But it's interesting how we get so familiar with each other, and where we just dip in and fill in the gaps. And our finance gap was missing, so we really missed you last week.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I know you guys handled it well. Sometimes these things happen. But great show, guys. Great show.
All right. Well, Glenda, can't wait to have you back because I'm sure there's so much more. So much more. All right. All right, guys. So we are moving on along. We are moving on to our hot topic segment this week. Woo! I can't wait to see who's the hot tool. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
boy, it's me. Oh boy.
This is your hot topic, Michael.
This is my hot topic this week, and this is an interesting one. Oh my
It's the
word.
Android himself. Wow.
No, and it's interesting. I'm glad you raised that. So let's talk about it. Apple crushes creativity. And what happened? Well, last week, Apple dropped the ad for their new iPad Pro. And the ad shows a hydraulic press crushing all sorts of things: paint cans, piano player, instruments, all sorts of creative tools. The ad goes on until they are crushed absolutely flat. The ad ends actually with just a call that says, "It's the thinnest iPad ever," right? No, this caused a huge stir online because Apple is seen as big tech using technology to replace all the creative tools. It did not portray the iPad as a new tool that helps enhance your creative pursuits. So there are a couple of things we want to take in here. But before I go to the takeaways, I want to say that, as Tamara was just mentioning, an Android person. So I'm not the actual target market. But when I saw the ad, I thought back to, say, the ThinkPad ads from IBM, where I thought they were talking to the durability of the product, right? The thinness, the durability, the lightness, etc. But here are some of the takeaways we want to look at with this article. You've got to know your audience. Apple alienated the same people the brand is supposed to represent. Apple has always stood for creativity, and I know they understand their ideal customers' values, but they've got to stick to that messaging that resonates with them. And the same for your business. Understand what really represents your brand and make sure that all your messaging, your content, and so resonates with that. Go to the next lesson. Trends can be tricky. So this ad echoes that hydraulic press meme you may have seen. It's all over TikTok. And these images and metaphors can easily be misinterpreted, as in this case. So consider how your message might be perceived beyond the literal meaning. And the last takeaway I want to say is that marketing goes awry sometimes. You've just got to be ready to adjust your strategy and apologize if necessary. So that's the hot topic for today. Apple has been embroiled, and that's why I'm bringing it back to that. Yes, I'm not Apple's, top customer, but it was interesting to see how this was received. I'm sure that they did test runs with it. I'm sure people looked at it and they all said, "Hey, great stuff. This is a great ad. Let's run with it." But what happened? It was seen as not, say, all of these items going into a mold that now creates this new product. It was seen as destruction. Now, where may they have gone wrong? I just want to go back to Apple. Some of the articles you might find about this take you back to 1984. Apple's launch was the rage against the machine, right? It was the rage against the status quo and so on. But now they're totally seen in a different light, like, "Oh, but you are the status quo and we don't like it." What are your thoughts, people? Tamara, go for it.
First of all, I was just really disappointed in them, and I want better for them. I was just like, how did this? Who? Tim? What the Tim Cook? Because I was like, where did they test this? Like, who did they test this with? What the Tim Cook? That's all I could think. That's all I could think. I was just like, this is insane. But it goes back, right, to it seemed they're out of touch. They're out of touch, right? And so I'm clear on that. And so, yeah, so they fit into that same mold. I can put my mic down now. They fit into that same mold of all the brands that we see make these mistakes and just continue to be out of touch. And, that's why I really like where the positioning that we're in this entrepreneurial space, right? Because we have one foot in the door of what happens in corporate, and we have one foot in the door of what's happening on the ground, right? For these businesses that aspire to use, Apple products, software, small, medium businesses that are using that, right? So they're like, what? Is my business going to survive? So they missed a mark for a lot of their targets. And so, yeah, I think it's important that they kind of have to now go back to be a little bit more grassroots, right? That grassroots element is missing, and it has to be such an important piece of your marketing. You have to consistently listen to what your customer is saying. They've been leading the conversation for so long, and it's a stock price game, right? So it's a money game. So it's a cow. So they've missed the conversation. Apple, what the Tim Cook?
It is what it is, and as I say, it was so interesting because yes, I'm not their core audience, right? So I watched the ad and I'm seeing as the ad is going, and I'm really expecting at the end of this ad it's going to say, the toughest iPad ever. I'm really that's where it looks like it's going, not, here's the thinnest iPad ever. Oh, okay.
It's so weird that two things from a sales perspective that I'll bring to the table before I put my personal opinion on the table, because I had a visceral reaction to it as well. But it is, let's speak on something that we talked about, I think was maybe stage 3 or 4 of the sales journey, and that's the recovery. When you misstep, and how do you recover? In this instance, I think it was on Thursday, they started their apology tour. and apology tour. It wasn't him. It was the vice president of marketing. So with the tour, Myron, who went on the apology tour for them, that actually came out and here's, to some of the things that he said. Basically, our goal is to celebrate the myriad of ways users express themselves and bring their ideas to life through iPad. We missed the mark with this video and we're sorry. Many of you need to be at the table speaking to this and recover. And he literally did the apology tour on every major media buyer, a marketer out there, Fox Business, Yahoo, you name a place on the tech side, as well as any place that were out there speaking. Here's the second piece. And I think if it's out there, I haven't seen it, but a missed opportunity for their competition to come to the table to say, and the react. I'm going back to a hot topic last week, the Drake and Kendrick Lamar, a battle. Can you respond quickly? What are you putting out in marketing that will help to move your business forward? So there was a marketing opportunity for the competition to take something they have already and just put a slight spin to it to say, but creativity still exists on this side. Might not be as thin, but creativity still exists on the side. Somehow, some kind of way to move their business forward, to throw a hard side eye, and then to drop something there. So from
Can we copyright that? Can we copyright that tagline for the ad right now? Because in case they're watching this, come on, you're giving away the goods. Here are your business and digital. Creativity is not thin on this side. We own that.
You don't have to be thin to be creative.
I mean, it literally wrote itself. It wrote itself. Just saying.
Come on.
And
AI is not taking over your job.
And absolutely, not leaning into any of those features, right? Like the iPad was never something I imagined as thick. So what was the need to emphasize thin? Is it paper thin now? It's always been like,
I was just literally thinking the same day that craziness dropped. I was watching someone on TikTok proving a point, literally had her iPad up, used it as a whiteboard, had the Apple Pen on it and using it. And more of the comments were not about what she was speaking to, but they were asking questions about, what were you writing on? What did you use? What app was it? What pen were you using? It was everything. It was an Apple commercial. Within, she was promoting, I said, talking about missed opportunity and the dichotomy of what was going on there. But, oh, come on, Apple, really? Seriously? Come
What
on.
the Tim Cook?
With the Tim Cook and with the Tor Myron. Come on. Come on.
This is so fun. I am not an Apple user, so I don't
Boo.
share any. I'm an Android all the way. But what is interesting, listening to Michelle and Michael speak just now, and then when Michael said he never saw the iPad as something fixed, then did it mean that they picked the wrong feature to try to fix? Because clearly people weren't really concerned about the thickness. So you went and tried to fix something that actually didn't need to be fixed, and now you're going to have to go on apology tour for it. Like it, and it's true. I don't think. I mean, not even though I'm not an Apple user, I know other people who use it, and that's never been something that has been a complaint. Oh my God, this is so bulky. It's so bulky. It's so thing. Everybody talks about the functionality of it. I was being swayed last year to buy a Apple device, right? I really was. And talking to different users. Yes, Tamara, you were one of them. You lauded the praises of the Apple, but that was never a complaint. The complaint, not sorry, the compliment was always about how functional it was and how once you go Apple, you never go back, and that all these sorts of things. So then, why is there a need to be thin all of a sudden? Like to be like there didn't seem to be a problem in that department.
100%. You're so right. So that's another lesson that we can add to this, right? And I know we have to wrap up soon, but I'm sure there's more thoughts. Everyone's like chomping at the bit. That's okay. We can get them in. Many times we solve for the problem that doesn't exist, and we're not necessarily, and we do this in business all the time. We're like, oh, cool, I can fix this. This is the thing right here to fix, when the reality of the situation is something else. So they solved the wrong problem. And that was a whole team of people with billions of dollars. I'm like, hey, come on over here to Monovan Digital, Lanyap Digital. We would have figured this out for you guys, and we would have given you the right grassroots campaign. Back to what the Tim Cook. Go for it, Michael, Michelle.
I don't want Nia to get after. So, I think this is, yes, it's a misstep. It happens. It absolutely happens. And that's the other thing. They try to capitalize on a meme that just didn't work for them. So I don't know if, maybe this is where it started, that their direction was, hey, let's piggyback off of a trend. But definitely, they supersize the size of the hydraulic press. When we see memes with it, it's a small little press. So they made it absolutely huge. So a lot of missteps, but the fact is, even with the best of planning, sometimes it does happen, right? For a number of reasons, it does happen. And you have to go on that apology tour. But don't let that scare you away from the marketing. It still works because, as they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? It's just publicity.
Michelle and I aren't getting Androids.
Or Android, I am getting iPads.
It ain't happening on this side. I'm pulling a camera. I'm pulling my mic up. It ain't happening. I'm an Apple girl through and through. But
apology tour aside, but Michael, and I'll say this and then go. If they were really trying to pull back in their history against, when they first came out with the Rage Against the Machine, and connecting the dots on those two, there needed to be some reference back to that old ad. They do it often. How often are you seeing something very old from Apple where they're showing that picture of, just a Macintosh, Apple, and moving back forward? They could have flashed that through as a memory piece and then moved on to something, but crushing. Oh, Samsung, all the other Android people, you're missing the.
You went mute there.
I was like, creativity is not thin. Come on now. Brought to you by Your Business in Digital.
Thank you. Plug. All right, we're having too much fun. You can't bring these cult of conversations to the show because we're like so out of control. But all right, so we are moving on along. Great hot topic, Michael. We are moving on along to our Go Beyond the Light segment. This is where we talk about strategies. This is where we really get to the heart of the money in the bank. This is where we move you, again, beyond those likes and follows to really understand what you're doing in digital and how it can really impact your bottom line. So today we're having an interesting conversation because as I've been floating around, I have been getting, I've been talking to people about this, right? We're going to talk today about discovering what every business owner or business executive gets wrong about digital marketing roles. I have been in some chat groups where I've seen digital marketing roles, and it's, like every digital marketing description underneath the sun rolled into one, and for like $5. Or some of them just not missing the mark, not understanding what should you really be hiring for. And so we really want to help you better understand how to approach the hiring process for digital, because there are a lot of roles in there. There are a lot of things that can happen, and you want to make sure you have the right person doing the job, not personality wise, but the right skill set based on your goals. So that's what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be exciting, I promise you. All right, so our first point number one, is what specific digital marketing role do you think you need and why? It's a really great place for a business executive to start, to really ask the question, well, what do you really need? If you are thinking about your business goals, I want to increase leads to my website by 10%. I want to increase visibility for my brand by X%. Then you kind of have to start to think, well, what do I want someone to do? I want someone who's going to drive leads, right? That's the end result. So you have to think about your goals and start wrapping your mind around that so that you start kind of formulating a framework for what you want this person to be able to do. So as the business owner, the business executive, you really have to, you can't jump in feet first and be like, I'm going to just get this person. How are they connecting back to the goals? What do you want this person to do? Thoughts, guys?
I think this is a great place to start, right? Really asking yourself that question. Do you need a strategic person? Do you need a tactical person? Do you need an implementer, right? Starting there, literally, what role are you trying to fill within your business? And as you said, why? What makes this role significant? I think this is a perfect place to start, really kind of understanding what you need as far as going forward that gets results. That's a key thing here, gets results. So you don't want to just bring in somebody in a role where, as we just mentioned in the hot topic, you're solving for the wrong problem.
I think, this is such a great place to start at the basic level. And I'm drawn to the thought of understanding it also comes back to what you yourself have in place, right? Because let's just say, if you don't have a functioning website, then you can't really tackle SEO. You probably have a functioning social media page, so maybe you want to push content there. So understanding the role is critical. You may not be ready for a full digital marketing strategist just yet, but maybe like in this little piece of the digital pie, you have a really good following on social media, and maybe you're trying to grow that following, or you're trying to do some work there. Email marketing may not be for you. So the role that starting here is really good, because then it forces you to assess what is it that you really need, because you might, as Michael said, you might end up bringing on a role that's not relevant to you. And like I said, the example I give was, if you don't have a functioning website, then you're not ready to talk the SEO game, you're not ready to talk other types of digital marketing. So great place to start.
I think of in the translation table of all of this for small business owners who are unfamiliar with the term, it's an opportunity to educate yourself and understand what that world is all about and who these people are and what the role they may play and where your community resides. Is your community more, as Andrew's saying, somebody that's on a LinkedIn, that is, a YouTuber, or by email? What's the touch points that you have to work through, and understanding the roles that they need to have in a specific place, because you may need to lean heavier into a social media manager as well as SEO. But if you don't understand the terms and understanding what you really want and where your client resides, you're not going to understand where you need to have a presence. So understanding the terminology and what you really want and where your customer resides is key in trying to help to make that decision as well. And good morning, Juma. Good to see you. Happy Monday to you.
I love that. You know, you guys made some really valid points there, but it's it's really important. And you know, even if it's an HR person that's doing the hiring, right? These are some of the questions that you might need to ask your business executive. You really need to make sure that you're getting the most information so that you can really help inform that position. What are they looking for? What do they need to accomplish? What do you think you need this role to accomplish? And there's some level of understanding of the roles, but if you know your business goals, you can kind of say, hey, you don't have to be an SEO strategist to know, hey, I'm trying to do these things, right? So break it down to that common denominator. What are you trying to accomplish? Next question. How do you envision these roles interacting with your existing team? So I love this question because I was actually talking to a friend the other day who actually has a marketer on who is kind of like doing their own thing. And so she's trying to connect the dots for her company to say, hey, this should be, you know, moving in this direction. It can't just drive you likes and follows. It really has to connect to what we need, our target audience. And so there's a disconnect there. And so another reason we do this show to have the CFO on, to have sales and pricing on, operations and marketing connecting, so that we are aware of what your goals are for the entire team. There's no silo, and we're breaking that down. So, you know, understanding how this role is going to connect with your existing team is really, really important. So you get an opportunity to get feedback from the CFO. What are you expecting? You know, same thing, you get to get feedback from all these people as you build to it. So there's an expectation this person is going to come in and fit into the team and be able to work across the aisles.
You know, oh, I'm sorry, Michael, go ahead. Uh-huh. I was going to say, I love this point because we, again, not to push on this hard, but we always speak on how important it is to integrate. We're all a team, and how it's important to let everyone in the team understand the vision and the goal, and how each team member plays a key pivotal role in the success of the business. That person can't work in a silo if they're not understanding how your entire team moves and operates, the nuances of little things that are spoken when you're all in meetings together that are key components to the success of every team member. And that person that you're trying to hire to bring into the digital marketing space is a key team member for you. So it's important that they're educated and understand and feel like they're an integral component to the success of your operation. So it's almost better to over communicate, over involve, and then decide when you need to have someone pull back than to exclude and break off. And there's a gap in information because we excluded, not intentionally, but by not thinking it through. So I think it's key to just involve and then bring them on because they're a part of your team. They're an extension of you.
Exactly right. So, and I was just going to bring to this point that understanding these rules means exactly what we were kind of saying before. You know, where are you? So let's say your business, you currently have a strategy, you do have a plan, you have, say, a content plan for the year. So maybe this person is just an implementer, right? And you're looking to make sure that they're implementing and they're measuring to give you that feedback. So you've got to really look at that, again, that rule. So was it a strategic rule? So how do they interact? Are they at those meetings that Michelle is talking about? Are they at that high level meeting? Understanding at every point what the marketing is intended to drive, right? And staying on track, because then that person now is supposed to help you from, you know, not going rogue at any given point in time, right? So great second point in terms of how does this actually fit into your team? A lot of small businesses need somebody just on the outside so that they can focus on their core business. And that's where it normally opens the door to say, well, listen, we need somebody in digital to come on board.
You know, bringing everybody together and having everyone work in kumbaya, as they say, it actually, it could help to drive your costs down eventually, right? Because then you capture if there's any double work, first of all, because you capture if two people are actually doing the same thing, so maybe you need to transfer it over. And then you also capture if your actions are diverging your goals. So you may have this goal, but because you didn't bring people together, one person is doing this way and going along now. And it's probably not that it's bad work, not that it's bad what they're doing, but because they're not in communication with you or with the rest of the team, they're going off on a different pathway. And then the team is going off on a different pathway. And then we end up nowhere, or at least nowhere that you want it to be, right? And that would have meant wasted effort, wasted resources, wasted money. If it took you 2-3 months before you pick that up, then you realize, wait, I've been paying for these services and they have not benefited me. So bringing people together like that can help to be efficient and to help that money work for you.
Yeah. And it's something that we hear from people all the time, right? They may have spent, small amounts over months, but then over like a year, it's like thousands of dollars, and they didn't get what they wanted, or they didn't get what they needed because they never really kind of thought it through, how it fit in, all those things. But it's funny, for every other role, they consider those things, right? So digital has just this, it's an enigma, right? It's scary out there. So it's like, what do I need to do? And let me just get myself someone to social media. So sometimes it's where we start, right? And it's okay to start there. But I think, this allows us, it's kind of going to give you that framework for thinking it through. Do you have the right person in place? Do you have the right team in place? Did you start at the top, or, where should you be? So it's just definitely food for thought. So the next question is, what are the key performance indicators for each role? If you were hiring for a VP of blah, 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 you would know, hey, they need to bring in extra this with 10%, blah, 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 to get their bonus, to get their this. You have those KPIs for that person. So what are the KPIs that you expect for this role? Now you can say, hey, your KPIs can be the regular KPIs you use, revenue, traffic, or whatever it is. But then you can translate that to digital. As you're working it through, you start translating, okay, what does this look like to digital? Because one of the things we say on this show all the time, or I say on the show all the time, is that when you have a KPI that is like a revenue KPI, what you need to understand is the steps in digital towards that, right? The metrics in digital towards that. So it's something like a click-through rate, a time on site, a form filled out, an email address collected, and then to a conversion metric, which gets you to the money. So you just start understanding those relevant metrics that matter, and you connect those dots. So you can create your metrics based on your business goals and keep it the way you need to keep it, but then go back and say, hey, this is where you start thinking about, and I'm going to start talking about this a little bit more as we go through the process, but this is where it could be really good to start working with a digital marketing consultant, right? Shameless plug, but it's important to kind of start getting that framework, because if you don't have the understanding, maybe your HR person is working with someone who's saying, hey, this is what you're looking for, this is what you're trying to accomplish based on these things, and here's how you start connecting the dots, because that way you can get a solid structure and a clear understanding of how you can, really make sure and connect those dots with your KPIs back to those digital KPIs.
Oh, I love this one. I love this one. I love this conversation that I have with my clients in this respect, because one of the things we discuss is we need to be definitive here. Specificity is really important, and it's not an emotion. It's not an I feel this would be great and I envision success if I have greater visibility. What does that mean? We need to put a number to it. So if you're anticipating, and we've mapped out what our sales expectations are, reverse engineer it. If we're bringing someone into the fold to help with digital marketing, that it's important to be transparent and provide an idea of what that goal is and what your expectation of them is. So if it is, of this marketing, we're looking for 25% of that $100,000 goal to come from your efforts, that means this is $25,000. We anticipate on this clock, for my watch that I have on right now, we anticipate that this means for us that this is going to happen in quarterly efforts by this many dollars over this time span, so that you're mentally understanding what this means to your bottom line. And you're also outlining what the expectation is of that person and what their value is to your business. So you have to put it in black and white terms and put it out there and be totally transparent. And can they deliver to that? Or can you exceed that expectation, because that's a cost that you've added to the bottom line. So you're looking for to reap that benefit in a defined, specific way that's easy to understand. So it's not an I feel, or it would be great to have more likes. No, we need to see some dollars that's attached to that in a specific sales fashion.
Well, I always love a KPI. I always love a KPI discussion. A KPI discussion is where it's at. A KPI discussion is where the money really shows up, or at least where you understand if the money is going to show up, right? So it's really important to figure out what is that thing that you want to measure this by, because whatever success looks like to you will eventually help you to achieve your goals. And I want to stress on the point that KPIs are specific to your business. If you are going from a brand new page, you're now trying to build, your KPIs are going to look different than somebody who has a suite of digital marketing efforts already behind them. It will look different from somebody who has a functioning page, who have followers of maybe 5,000 and above. They're going to look different. So always remember that the KPIs is where it's at in terms of being able to determine if you're heading towards your goals and if you're going off track.
What she said. Well, I'll add to it, because I think what happens for a lot of small businesses coming into the game is you get approached, and the metrics that you are given in terms of what they will do tend to be related to something that's not relevant to you, right? So in other words, that engagement tends to be around the number of posts they will make per week, the number of creatives they will do, but that may not be what you're really centering on, right? So you've got to be clear on what that looks like, just as we have discussed. Everybody has lent their pointed. So be clear on those KPIs, making sure that they are KPIs that move the needle, as we say.
100%, definitely, guys. So I know we have a few things to cover, so we're gonna not speed through these, but do you prefer specialists in each area or a generalist who can manage multiple aspects of the digital marketing? That is that is a great question, right? So I think you have to really understand what you're trying to accomplish. So just like, Andrew was saying in the beginning, if you don't have a website, you don't need an SEO consultant just yet. You may need to understand your content and how that works, but you're not going to have someone optimize your website. If you are, if you're just starting off, where do you want to focus? Are you going to have someone just creating content for you, right? So you need to understand, am I looking for a generalist, or am I looking for someone who's going to do something specific to achieve that business goal? Now, if you have a website, you want to be in a space of, okay, cool, how do I get to getting market share on Google or on Bing or any of those search engines? That's a conversation you want. How do you show up? And that's where SEO comes in. So you can say, hey, I'm really looking to gain market share there. Can I work with someone who will drive more leads, drive more traffic, more relevant traffic to my site, where I can say, I got these 10 leads from my website, and this is how this works for me. That's why I worked with an SEO consultant. Or maybe I'm looking at paid advertising. You really have to determine what you're looking for. Do you have the tools? Is that a part of your strategy before you get someone? And then the other thing you want to consider definitely is, are you looking for someone to execute a plan? So you may have worked with a consultant who said, here's the plan. You got a plan. You understand how that's going to work to achieve your business goals. Are you looking for someone to execute? And then you follow up on those things, right? Execute with an implementation plan, all those things. Because if you're working with a consultant, you should get a full plan with implementation as well.
I think this speaks to definitely where you as the business owner, where's your comfort level with digital, right? What's your comfort level, your understanding of that holistic marketing platform, different channels, etc. So that might mean, just as Tamara is saying, you've come to that point where you have a plan, you have a strategy, and you're looking at implementation. So maybe you're looking at a specialist, you're looking at only maybe SEO specifically or a certain platform specifically. So another great place to think about it in terms of what's your digital comfort and what does this person really bring to the table to help enhance that comfort. Yes, good morning, Debbie. Great, good morning to you as well. And yes, we would vote for a specialist in video marketing, of course.
I think it will come back to the KPIs as well, right? It comes back to what area you want to focus on, because just as Debbie mentioned there, she would vote for somebody in video marketing. That's where she wants to focus on. Somebody else might actually want a specialist in blogs, in blog writing, because they're probably trying to build that blog audience, because they're probably going down a different pathway. So I think, this is a great question to link back to the first point of thinking about your goals, thinking about your KPIs, because a generalist might work well for you. You probably have different pieces in different areas and you just want to make sure you keep things going. Or if you want to dive head in first and you say, you know what, this is my year, I want to launch my YouTube channel, then that means you're going to look for somebody who's a specialist in video and getting those things off the ground.
Look at you plugging Debbie right away. I love that. Video specialist. That's amazing. All right, we're going to move on to the next question. Michelle, you'll take this one first. What ongoing training and development will you provide to ensure these roles evolve with digital trends? Now, guys, this right here is so important, because so digital is ever changing and moving and speeding. There are times where I'm just studying to stay relevant. You have to study, do the homework, stay on trend. So you can't hire someone and then not make sure that they're educated and learning more and staying on trend to help you grow your business and connecting those dots. And it might be a little bit more practical training, practical solutions where they're working on your business. Like, let's just say, for instance, this is crazy that I have another plug. If you have a course or something, or if you have a workshop that lends to, hey, here's how we can work on your strategy, your business strategy, so that person comes back and learns a little bit more. It is really staying on the pulse of the education for digital that matters, that can move your business forward. So they come in the door knowing one thing, the business shifts their perspective, and then the trends also shifts their perspective. And I mean, I pay attention to different things in different industries to see how that can work for our clients, where our pivots need to be. So it's super important that the education piece is met.
This is a two-way street in this piece, in both places. For the person that you're bringing in, that you're hiring into your business as a partner, the evolution of your business and you cluing them in and having them understanding components about your business that they may not know. Most of these individuals are great in their space, but are not specialists in your particular line of business. So it's in your best interest to keep that continuing education going for whomever that you're bringing in, and committing to providing that information to them for the success to happen. Failure is abound if you don't. Now, on the opposite side, for you, the continuing education, the CE is important, not just in understanding what's going on in the greater market, but in each one of these spaces. Time is evolving. This is a fast changing place. Well, we had a conversation last week and the week before about how AI is evolving so quickly that you have to almost look at things on a daily basis or have some form of information coming to you so that you understand how things are evolving. In order for you to really understand that touch point and your expectation of a digital strategist or someone that's coming into your space to help you to resolve that, you need to understand the lingo. You need to understand what's moving and how that's evolving and changing, and have that two-way street as well. So is that an expectation that you have with that person coming into your space to help you to learn that? Or are you also trying to learn that on your own so that you may have other points to question them on, to be a check and a balance, or to just ask a question to not assume that things are moving in a specific way? So I think that educational piece is imperative on both sides of the table. You helping them to know more about your business, and then you understanding the digital landscape a lot better.
100%. Really, no, that's, oh, yeah. That
And
was
don't
nice.
forget to add in at that really operational implementation level, everything that you're using in your tech stack for marketing, they're constantly updated. A lot more of these software as a service companies provide really robust training programs on their platforms and the direction. So if we're going straight down from that, from the top level of strategy and so on, those types of positions, down to those positions that implement, you want at the very least to make sure that your staff is staying up to date on the latest trends on the platform, the latest features on the platform, because we often say that we're not utilizing these platforms to 100%. So you want to make sure that's an ongoing part of training, that they stay up to date with those platforms as well.
Oh, that's like a genius point. All right, we're moving on along. So, this one is good. How will these roles fit into your overall marketing strategy? Because you have a marketing strategy already, right? Because you have things you've been doing offline, some other things you've been doing. So it's not like there's not a marketing strategy. So any of these roles that you're hiring for, how does that lean into what you're currently doing? And is it going to be counterproductive, or does it fit into it? Is it an extension of it? So Andrew, I'm gonna let you take this one first, because I think really important here. Yeah.
Yes, it's really important to understand how these roles will complement your marketing efforts. And the thing about it is, don't forget, marketing efforts, when we say marketing, we still mean traditional marketing as well. Yes, we speak about digital marketing here, but the term marketing still encompasses some of the traditional media that that you're accustomed to. So it still will encompass things like if you want to do a TV ad, radio ad, that sort of thing. So if we're talking about these digital marketing tools, the question really is here, how does it really fit into all the other marketing efforts that you are doing? So if you still have elements of traditional, how does digital support that? What does it look like for you? It could look like, well, I'm doing TV ads, but then on my social media, we take the ad and maybe we make it ready. We take pieces of it and we make content of it, and we're sharing it on social media. How are all these different rules helping you still maintain whatever position it is that you are following for your business? What positioning strategy that you're trying to apply for your business? How are these rules going to help you get there? And it could be something like, if you're trying to get into a particular market or get into a particular audience, how is digital marketing and all these different rules helping you do that? If you're trying to tap into a particular age bracket based on the product that you're selling, does this help or does this hurt? Right? If you're trying to tap in, definitely if you're trying to tap into a market that anybody under 24, maybe TV, maybe the traditional one might not be the best for you. You're going to have to lean into more of the digital marketing role. So it's about how is it working with what you already have set up, and how is it complementing? Because don't forget, you can still have traditional things happening at the same time. And we want digital to complement. We don't want digital to hurt any other effort that you're doing, but you definitely want digital to complement and help maximize those efforts.
That's good stuff. All right, so we're gonna hit our last question, and then Michael, I'm gonna kick this over to you. It's going to be a good one because you kind of talked about it, right? A little bit. The tools. Are you, as a business owner, as a business executive, are you prepared to invest in the tools and technology for those roles to really be effective? That's super important, because for the strategist or the SEO person or the content writer to do the job, there are certain tools that help them to be effective. And are you prepared to pay for those things? Are you prepared to invest in those things? So, Mike, I'm going to kick this over to you.
Yeah, this is a great operational question, right? So what are you supporting? What activities are you supporting in tech? So you've brought in people in these roles. So you've brought in, say, an SEO strategy. That's a great example. But what are you using? What SEO tool are you using? Because of course you're not expecting somebody to just come and, oh well, I'm using this, and then if you change a person, they're using something else, right? You're setting that standard from the company side, from the business side. And you've got to see it as an investment, right? So you're investing in people, but you're investing in the tools that the people will need. So what's your CRM system? What's your content management system? What's your scheduling system for emails and so on? So it's a great place to start thinking in terms of, when I get this person, what is their toolkit that they will work with on a daily basis to get the result? How much is it going to cost? Because that's the cost. What's the underlying platform I'm using? Am I using a CRM? Am I using HubSpot? So that has a cost, and that has to be maintained in order for the person to do their job well. So you've got to be prepared to make not only the people investment, but the technology investment that sustains it. You may even go as far as we said, enrolling that person, say, in courses that are related to that platform or product or tool. So as I said, a lot of these software packages now have really robust training programs, and that's where you may have to look at investment over time to make sure that that position continues to perform well and have its relevance to the bottom line of the business. I see Andrea shaking her head because that means the numbers went through her head right there.
No, that's amazing. That's a really good answer, and such an important piece of the pie, right? What tools are you willing to invest in for this to be successful? Because you want this hire to be successful. So I'm going to pass it over to each of you to give your 30-second wrap up on this conversation around what every business owner or business executive needs to understand when they're hiring for digital marketing roles. Sometimes some of the things that they get wrong, right? So go for it.
Well, I'll start off the wrap up since I just came off, but I want business owners to really understand that, yes, like most new fields, especially when we came into, say, the technology era and they had all the information technology fields, right? We are now in this era of, it's spawned a whole new host of titles and so, but you've got to keep your goal clear. What is this person coming to do? And make sure that what they speak to the engagement, it speaks to what happens at the end of the day, at the bottom line, in terms of measurement and accomplishment.
Digital marketing has blown up in the sense that, the way that you hire now it's so different. All these traditional work roles that you're accustomed to, these roles have been in existence for so long. It's kind of like an accountant, for example. Our job specs haven't really changed much, or our goals haven't really changed much from when accountancy began. We have some technology coming into play there, but for the most part, you could count on the accountant is responsible for the numbers and responsible for certain key things as it pertains to finance. Digital marketing has entered the game now, and now you have all these different roles that could really confuse you at times. And as a small business owner, you're probably wondering, well, how do I know which one is right for me? And I think the takeaway I want persons to understand is, all may not be right for you right now, and all may actually at some point never be right for you, right? You may actually only end up using 2 out of the 3, right? So whereas before, when digital marketing first started, it was just one, you could just hire this person who understood these things and they would help you with all the different aspects of it. We've now gotten so granular that you really have to ask yourself, who is it that I really want? Do I want somebody specialized in graphics? Do I want somebody specializing in video? Do I want somebody specializing in blogs? It's gotten so granular, like I said, and that's why I compared it to accountants. At the end of the day, we're still doing numbers work, right? But the specialties that exist within digital marketing, you really have to ask yourself these questions, and don't be afraid If it is, a lot of the rules end up becoming not applicable to you, because not everything may be applicable to you right now. And don't be afraid if it never becomes applicable to you because of the business strategy that you're taking.
From a sales perspective, I will say that digital plays a key role in your sales journey from the very first part of it. What component of it plays what role at each stage will vary, but it is key to your success in every stage of your sales journey. We need help in marketing. We need help in helping us to facilitate the know, like, trust factor that we have that we're looking to put out in the environment. We need digital marketing to bring in those qualified leads to our business. We need marketing to have a recourse to reach back out to our clients, to recover, as we spoke about in our hot topic, to market specific things and to get that message out. So every stage from the moment we meet someone or try to meet someone to and through the sales cycle, it's important. So we need that at the table. So don't think that you can come into this and disregard it. You need it at the table, and how you bring it in is going to be important to the success of your business. So that the intention is really key. The informative part is really key, and understanding that they are part of your sales at every key step of the journey is important. So take the time, invest the opportunity and the time into the business, and understand where they fit in each component of your sales cycle. Success is at the table and will be there. But if you take digital away, it's going to be hard for you to be successful and to achieve the goals that you've outlined.
We get it. Hiring for digital can be confusing. There's a lot to consider, connecting it to your business goals. But you definitely should put the effort in. And this gives you a blueprint. This entire conversation here gives you a blueprint for what you can do, where you can start. I'm definitely a proponent of working with a digital marketing consultant, because then you get to understand some things. Also spend some time educating yourself, just understand what the roles really do, so you can have a general conversation about it, right? You do research before you do anything else. Do the research, understand some things, ask some questions, so that you're hiring the right person and you're not wasting money, right? Because you don't want to do that, because that's really where we hear businesses for years they spent money investing in this piece. While it's important, it may not be the piece that you needed at that moment. So you're continuing to do that piece of the strategy that is kind of like, it's a little bit more tactical, whereas the strategy is, I want to get to 10, 20 leads per month, and that looks different. And we spend a lot of time in that top of the funnel area when we're doing the marketing and digital, right? Very much of hello, hello, hello. That's what happens at the top of the funnel. We're not looking at moving people throughout that funnel. So that's another piece of the pie. So definitely get with a digital marketing consultant. We help that at Monovan Digital to get you the right strategy in place, or the right idea of what you should hire for. So this was a great show, great conversation. I cannot believe we're getting to that place where next Wednesday is our last show for the season, just for the season. We're going to take a little bit of a summer break, but we'll be here doing our summer wrap up. So it's like summer break, but not really, kind of, sort of. We'll be here as individuals. So it's going to be interesting. So let me tell you guys how you can connect with us. We're a little over, but still connect with us. For those of you that stayed on live, thank you so much. I think we had probably like maybe 10 people on at the top. So we're seeing more and more people join us consistently. We love that. We love that you are supporting the show, and hopefully you're getting the strategies that you need from the show. We're having candid conversations about digital marketing. So tell a business executive about the show, tell a business owner about the show, subscribe to us on YouTube or on LinkedIn Live. We're on Facebook and Instagram Live as well. If you can't catch us live, that's all right. Catch us on the replay. The replay is just as good as the live. Check us out on YouTube. And if you like podcasts, we're everywhere podcasts are found. We're on all the places. But what I want to reiterate is what we bring together here at Your Business in Digital is a true small business, right? We bring together all the players. We have Andrea Ragu, who who is our virtual CFO, talking to us about finance and digital, how you can connect those dots. We have Michelle Gordon, who is talking to us about sales, pricing, understanding your worth. Check her out at Glenda Digital. That little something extra. She is always giving that information to us here on the show. Of course, we have Mr. Michael Wilshire. I don't know why I'm like Mr. Michael Wilshire. I always want to do a drum roll with his name, but he keeps us together. He executes through that plan, that here's the operations, here's the steps, how long will it take, can we get this done, did you think through these tools, what are we doing to make sure we're achieving these goals? And I bring together that digital marketing, the trends, the analytics, and we connect all the dots together, right? We're true small business, we're true business here, breaking down the silos for digital marketing, your digital marketing efforts. So thank you for joining us. We will see you on Wednesday. Debbie will be here with us on Wednesday, our last show before the summer. But thank you so much for joining us. Have an amazing Monday. We'll see you very soon. Take it easy. Bye.